As promised, I will continue to start every single episode the same exact way until she's either off the screen or acknowledged for being a racist piece of shit. Emmy is still a racist piece of shit.
I will say I do feel pretty good though. It seems like the audience is picking up on that. There's a lot of talk online about Emmy needing to be removed from the show. So I'm hoping Bravo's paying attention because if they try to bring her back next year, it's not going to be good.
That'll be a big old no.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined, as always, by the one and only Punta Magooter. What's up, dude?
Should have seen that one coming.
Not
I actually
Punta,
kind
Punta.
not Puta. I was
Yeah, you're not
expecting a
bitch.
pirate name,
It's a
but
boy.
I think it's this episode's 50-50. It's 50-50 for pirates and Punta Cana. So you could have gone either way. I would have liked the pirate name though. So, just jot that down for the future.
For the
Make you
next
feel
time. I
good.
mean, we're still there. So, I mean, they're not having a pirate party. But if I did that, I already figured out what I would call you. And I don't think you'd like it because it implies that you shit your pants. Charter McGarter. Arr.
You used that at one point for traders, and I didn't
Yeah,
care
the
for it.
Scottish.
Yeah. So you know what? I'll take Punta Magooter any day. So look, we're back in a very good show, a very fun cast, a lot of interesting things going around, some good discussions, and then we get bogged down by Emmy. So
Yeah.
we're right on track. We are right on track for exactly what we thought. Again, she's just unfortunately like a festering sore on this show right now that needs to be removed. She's a boil that needs to be poked. Lance, that boil, is that
Lance,
the
that bad boy.
yeah, let's lance that bad boy right here, right now, because the rest of the show is great. And I like talking about the rest of the show. I enjoy talking about whether or not Joe has any fucking clue what he's doing as a boyfriend to
He doesn't, but
Maddie.
he's trying very hard.
He doesn't, but he's trying. He is trying his hardest. But watching it every week is very funny. And look, it comes from a place of love. Like when Maddie sees things, she knows he's not doing things completely dismissive of her feelings. He just doesn't really know what's going on, and he's trying and he's doing his best. So I want to talk about stuff like that, and then we have to get into Michaels and Emmy talking. And I'm like, God damn it, why are we doing this? I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point that we've reached a point in this show where in the beginning, I mean, I didn't want to watch that shit anyway, but it's important to address, and it was adding to the overall show. You had people talking about their feelings, how this impacts people. So it's a very powerful scene that we've gotten a few times with Brad talking about it. But we've reached a point now where you have to question production. You have to question Bravo and say, what's the intention at this point? Because now it's reaching that level of, all right, we're just co-signing a racist every week because she's not learning. She's not changing her opinion or her views. And we're giving her a platform. And I said that last week with the confessionals. It's like, at what point do we shut the confessionals down? Because she just gets to go one-on-one with the camera and vomit this rhetoric and try to spin it on Brad again. So at some point, it becomes detrimental not only to the show, but to the people on the show. Like, this is detrimental to Brad, who is continuing to have to defend himself against this. I mean, it's slander, it's defamation, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but it's dangerous now. Like to take it to the show standpoint, just overall watchability. Now we're hitting hiccups during the show where it's like, fuck, you're deviating too far. We don't want to deal with this shit. We want to watch them have fun.
Yeah, and honestly, like we know she's unhinged. We know she has mental issues. Watching it doesn't give us any entertainment. Like, and we talked about this last week, especially when you just said something about the confessionals. I understand if this is the angle they're going at, is showing us all of these confessionals so that they can catch her in lies where she says, I'm not going around town telling anybody about what happened between me and Brad. And then they go boom, boom, boom. So they are trying to catch her in lies and show the audience like, hey, she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's completely lost out here and she's making things up. I get it. I understand why you're showing that to us, but we're getting to the point now where she keeps spilling that rhetoric. She keeps going and keeps going. And there's no end in sight, really. I mean, every time that we think maybe she'll, I don't even want to say learn her lesson because we're not going to go that far with her. every time that you think that maybe she'll just shut up, maybe she'll just be like, you know what, I'm not getting any sympathy here. I'm not getting anybody really on my side that we're seeing anyway. Maybe I should just stop going down this path and change my tune. No, she's going to keep doubling and tripling down. It's even worse for Brad.
I mean, it's almost a microcosm for people like Emmy. You know, if you look across the board and take this beyond television, the inability to take a step back and learn something, acknowledge that maybe you're wrong because you're so quick to defend yourself because you hear the word racist and you go, I'm not racist, but you're not taking the time to hear why the things
She
that you're
didn't even
saying.
know that microaggression was a racist thing when we started this
Correct.
season. So,
Right? Like
how is
she's
she
gonna,
offended by this?
yeah, and she's gonna die on that hill, which I don't think that she's that stupid. Again, like growing up in our generation, it's hard. The sad thing is, with your shaking of your head, you're right. You could almost
Yeah.
defend it. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like maybe she really didn't know, but that's not an excuse. And like for our
No.
generation growing up how we did, with this stuff being discussed, with this stuff being at the forefront and learning about it, I can't acknowledge like, okay, well, you just don't know. No, it's your job to learn, and the inability to just take a second and listen to what people are telling you and be like, oh, maybe you haven't looked at it that way. And this could go to so many fucking people in this country right now. It's like, look, you're so busy defending yourself, you're not taking the time to listen. And if you listen, you may learn something, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll improve who you are, and people won't want you off their TVs. It's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen for those other people around the country that are racist pieces of shit that refuse to learn. But it's interesting to watch. I don't need to watch it anymore. We've seen enough. But watching it kind of transpire, it's like, just shut the fuck up, and you might actually become a better person.
Yeah, and I think that her escape plan for all of this was presented a couple different times. When you don't know what the definition is for microaggression, when you have to look it up, when you're not using it correctly, so you don't even know what people are claiming when they're telling you, and they have to tell you point blank what you're doing is wrong and it's racist. That's when the P word that you also hate as a white woman very much comes into play. People call you privileged and you freak out. The most emotion we've seen from Emmy in the last like 4 episodes was when Julia called her white privileged bitch. She freaked out. No one, we're accusing you of being racist and you didn't bat an eye and you're defending yourself. But now all of a sudden you're privileged. It's like, oh, this is a huge
That's
issue.
the problem.
That's what we're proving though, by you not knowing any of this. And look, that's okay if you can have the accountability and the responsibility to say, you know what, maybe I am privileged. I am privileged in the sense that I haven't actually had to face an issue like this. I haven't been in an issue like this where I've actually had to explain myself.
And you never will.
Okay. And that's okay. Like if you just said that and then said, I need to, like what everybody else says, that rhetoric, I need to educate myself and I need to put my head down and do the work and figure things out like everybody says when they get caught doing something shitty. But at least if you do that, that's a way out. Like I think that everybody on the cast would be like, thank you for at least admitting one thing and now move forward and stop talking about it. But she keeps talking about it and she's denying that. So she wants everything at the same time. And it's a terrible storm of Emmy being on the show again, because it just takes away from so many good things, so many good aspects, so many good dynamics about all the other things going on. Like I find it wildly entertaining that we spent multiple episodes talking about whether or not Justin was with Jordan and Mia coming into the picture. Like that shit was funny.
Yeah.
Lake getting in the midst of that. Like, yeah, we have issues with it, but it's still funny as hell to watch Lake throw a hissy fit about something she's not involved in. Like that's good TV. And then we get bogged down immediately because Emmy doesn't know what being racist is. And it's brutal. And it's a bad look for the show, for a show that has so much momentum and it's so good and it's finally catching on. This is what the masses are watching now. This is what people are checking in on. Whereas the first 3 seasons were just delightful. And now we're here and we're like, okay, that kind of sucks. You do have to remove her. Like that's really the only answer.
Yep. No, I completely agree. And, you know, I would be shocked if after all the blowback they're getting currently that I don't think she'll come back. She doesn't need to for her own well-being.
We said that last year.
I know we did. Right. But that was before all of this shit too. And now it's crazy because it's like, look, I don't know why. I have no idea why. She has been given such a long leash by the people in this group. I don't understand it. I don't know. They're trying, as you said, they've given you 30 off ramps because for whatever reason, they don't want you to be gone. I don't know why. I'll never get that. But they're trying. They're trying to give you an opportunity to shut up. Michaels is doing it. Brad tried to do it. Lake, for whatever reason, is still on your team. That's stupid. Maddie, Joe, like all of these people are giving you so much room. I actually am now starting to question those people and be like, why are you doing this? You look bad now by
Yeah.
co-signing this shit. But regardless, you're getting all of these chances. And even then, you can't get out of your own way. So bravo, do your job, protect your cast, get her the fuck out of here. We're done.
Yeah.
We're over it.
Yeah, and whichever way you decide to look at it, whichever way you decide to go forward with not going forward with Emmy, I'm fine with. I don't care. It's a
Same.
means to an end. If you come out and say we can't have this type of behavior on a show like this, when there are people of color, when there are minorities on the
That's the
show,
other thing. You have
that are
such a diverse cast.
I know, like it's such a diverse cast, and you have Michaels on Watch What Happens Live, pretty much saying like, "I'm one of the only Hispanics on the entire Bravo network because Miami's down. Like, bring back Miami, exactly, bring back Miami." But when you have all of these things going on, it fucks up the group dynamics. So if you just end it at the end of the season and say we're deciding to move forward without Emmy, and you want to give her another out, her final out, if you will, and just say it's taking away what she's doing as a single person on this show who clearly no one really wants to film with. And we'll get to, her and Maddie sitting down. I've got some theories about what's going on between that friendship. But
I hope so, because I'm
no
very
one,
confused with it.
yeah, no one wants to film with her. That's a detriment to a good show that has momentum. We have to move on. Just get rid of her and move on, and no one's going to complain.
Nope, we won't. Promise. We'll actually celebrate. But without further ado, let's jump into this episode. And we start. I love watching people golf on reality TV.
That's
it's
fantastic.
one of my favorite things to see the swings. Yep. And kind of expected.
What's funny? Every time that, especially on a show like either this or Southern Charm, every time I see them out golfing is when I text you and say, "Hey, we got to get down there." It's because I want to golf. I know. It's because I want to golf. Like, that's all it is.
We need to get it in the books. We've been talking about going to Charleston. We've talked to the people on the cast about going to Charleston for 2 years. So I think it's probably time that we did that. It's not even that far away. It's a pretty easy trip.
No,
I think the plane
like
ticket's
a beautiful area.
$100.
Well, I mean, all plane tickets are very expensive right now.
That's a good point. Yeah, well, that's what happens when never mind. Never mind. What are we talking about? Boys golfing. Yay. Well, it's nice to hear that Joe is acknowledging that he was a bit of a drama queen about the whole 30 thing. It's like, yeah, by the way, 30's the new 20. Everybody knows it. Everyone's talking about it. But he got a yacht for Maddie's birthday party. He knows somebody that has a big, pretty boat, and he's going to get everybody on board for a little surprise. In my head, immediately, I'm like, oh, this is not a good idea. She's going to hate this, Joe. You should have ran this by her at the very least, but it's pirate themed, so that's fun. We get to go watch a pirate party later. Now, we go to Republic that evening, and Mia arrives looking for a table. Lake takes the approach of, you're not Beyonce, bitch. Typically, you call ahead. You're going to sit there and try to convince us, after we have watched Joe, Mia herself, Justin, Brad, their job's to get people off the street to buy a table every night.
Yeah.
Every single night you're at Republic, that's their job. So no, you don't get to now throw the book at her and be like, well, most people call ahead. No, they don't. You guys wrangle them off the streets.
It would be one thing if Mia showed up by herself or with one friend and demanded a table on like a high volume night, like a Saturday night. She goes to Republic, bypasses the line, demands a table for just herself, and wants a bottle comped. We didn't see any of that. She brought 10 friends and did not insinuate once that she wants anything for free. She just wants a table. We've watched Leva, we've watched Michaels come into that back room looking at everybody saying, you guys need to sell more tables. We're not selling enough tables. We're not selling enough tables. This is not a problem at all. This is, I don't get it. I really don't. And every time that Lake comes back, she's just jealous of Mia. That's all it is. That's really all it is. Because it's not like we tried to look at it from every angle with the whole Jordan situation. Like, are you closer to Jordan than it looks like you are? Maybe we'll give you a little bit of a pass there. No, we're not. It's just every opportunity that she has to make a comment on Mia, starting with her appearance, starting with her look, starting with her fake boobs, whatever it might be. It just reeks of jealousy. And that's all it is. And somebody just needs to sit down with Lake and say, hey, stop, like enough. And I don't care who it is at this point. It's just, again, I find it extremely funny, but I do think that a lot of people watching the show are like, all right, I'm very confused by this whole Lake situation. I'm kind of out. Let's move forward to a different storyline. I still enjoy it because I think it's funny. And I know there's going to be some sort of comeuppance at some point, which is going to be somewhat entertaining, at least mildly entertaining. But that's what it is. That's all it is. She's just wildly jealous of Mia.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all we can really go off of now. And that I don't think she recognizes that that's how it's playing off.
Yeah.
And I look, we like Lake, right? Like we liked her last year, and I do think that she is an important part of this show. I think what we're seeing here is a very, very important sophomore slump. I think she's going to learn a lot from this. I would imagine she comes back next season with a whole different repertoire, but this is kind of important. I think that also lends to we talk about her being so young all the time. We've stopped giving her that out because she continues
Yeah.
to be kind of tough to watch. But I do think that in the grand scheme of this show, we'll look back at this season and this will be a very good like teaching point for Lake moving
Yeah.
forward.
I like that. That's nice. I
Isn't that
actually have a
positive?
question.
Sure.
Was sophomore slump a thing? Like, this is gonna sound so fucking self-centered, but was sophomore slump a thing before we started talking about reality TV? Like,
I don't
obviously it's a
know.
thing in sports. I've been seeing it more and more, and I'm starting to
Did we
think,
coin it?
and maybe I'm delusional in thinking this, but I had not seen it before we started
I didn't
saying it. And
either.
it was just, it's second nature for us to say it because we talk about it all the time with different like sports, whether it's
Especially like
college or
baseball. It's a big
professional.
baseball thing.
A huge baseball thing. Yeah, it happens all the time. And we just immediately correlated that to reality TV, but now I'm starting to see it. So I think we did it. I think we did it, buddy.
Do the thing. Copyright.
Yeah.
Trademark. Boop.
Well, I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, it might
that's
be a little
ours now.
late, but yeah.
Nope. No. It's ours now. If you use it, you owe us $1. I don't know. I think usually I'm quick to be like, no. But that one, just because of the sports correlation, like we did start throwing that out there like 4
Yeah.
years ago when we started this
Uh-huh.
whole thing. So I'm gonna take credit. We're gonna take
Yeah,
credit,
I think we
guys.
should.
That's ours. Now, Emmy, this is where I question things, like how much she is aware of and not aware of, because she knows when people are pissed at her. And you can
Mhm.
tell because of the way she says things. What's up, Pookie? You look like you have a thought. Says that to Michaels. And then she goes to a confession, goes, I don't know what he's mad at. How could you not? How could you not know what everybody on the show is mad at? And then it's even deeper because I just assumed he's frustrated with everything going on and her inability to take accountability. But no, she texted him paragraphs,
Oh yeah.
defending herself. And Michael's in a confessional finally is like, it's gross and selfish and not thinking about what she could have done to Brad's
Mhm.
reputation. My frustration therein lies with everybody on the cast. You guys have all commented on this in a confessional. And yet when push comes to shove and we see you in a group setting, we see you with Emmy, say it to her
Yeah.
and drop the fucking hammer and say, look, asshole, like this is what you need to clean up. I don't care if you don't understand. We're telling you. As people of color, we're fucking telling you what this does, what our experience is. It's not for you to dictate. So say,
Yeah.
just shut up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think when you start looking at individuals and who could possibly do that, I mean, we've said it countless times, Brad can't be the person to do that. I think
No,
Julia standing up for Brad the week prior is the closest that Brad can get to being involved in this.
I agree.
Otherwise, like he's fighting a losing battle. There's no way he comes out on top of that one because he's just gonna, in a weird Emmy delusional way, probably prove her right by defending himself, by saying, hey, take a look in the mirror and stop doing this shit. But when Michaels does it,
Again,
and
like
Michaels,
that lens, that's privilege, by the way, because Emmy doesn't
yeah,
have to worry about that. Brad does.
exactly. And when it comes down to Michaels, and we've seen Michaels, so I have some pretty good hope for him, especially the way that this episode goes. We always do forget, like, a lot of these people were really close with Emmy. A lot of these people were best friends with Emmy. And then out of nowhere, and obviously, you know, the will influence, if you will, is what's going on there. And
The
obviously there's
willfluence.
other things. The will fluence, yes, willpower. Those types of things are obviously like seeping in, but she's a completely different person from season one. I mean, season one, yeah, there were cracks in the fault, and you could see like she was hyperventilating in certain situations. It is played up times 300 at this point. It is so bad. So these people are like, hey, we used to be friends. I don't even recognize you anymore. So they're still coming to grips with that. So I do give them a little bit of a pass, and we'll talk a little bit more when we get closer to Maddie. But for Michaels, I've seen the way that he handles things. We saw the thing with Lake. He does shut down. He goes silent. He tries to have a conversation. If the conversation goes wrong, then he gets in his feelings, which we'll see at the end of this episode. And then I think he's going to clap back. So I do think he's going to do that while down in the Dominican. But with Emmy, like, I laughed immediately because you're like, this is when I start questioning things. And I'm like, Emmy comes on the screen and you're immediately like, oh God, I'm going to have to question some things, aren't I? Like, what am I going to watch right now? What am I going to have to deal with? Now, somebody did break down the text messages because they showed them very quickly.
Oh,
and it
good.
was a little blurry. But the added bonus of those text messages, which obviously she just kind of goes into great detail about how she felt like Brad was stalking her and pounding on the door. And we've heard the story 50 different ways. And it
Every
changes
time
over
it's
time.
told, it gets worse and worse.
Yeah, and this gets way worse because what we didn't know is that she told the front desk of the hotel that they were at, called them, she wanted the police involved, and she thought that the front desk would do it for her. She also said that she could sue Brad. That's what she did in those text messages. So while Emmy's sitting there like, yeah, I pretty much just went through everything and just told Michaels what was going on and how I was feeling. No, you added more to that already ludicrous story that has changed 50 times. Doesn't make any sense. You're adding in new details about how you were feeling. And somehow, some godforsaken way, you're still coming off more racist. Like, just when you think like, oh yeah, you can't get any more racist. Like, I don't think you can anyway. You're just repeating the same shit. You're actually adding in new information that is making you way more racist. So
Yep.
cool. That's a good job, Emmy.
Yeah, it's hard to do, actually. It's hard to bury yourself even deeper when people are giving you so many off ramps.
Yeah.
That's where it's astounding to me. Every time she comes on the screen in confessional, I'm like, how are you going to make it worse now? Like those text messages, like that is so. And here's the problem that she doesn't understand. Some people are going to watch that and they're going to believe her and they're
Yep.
going to take her side. That's happening right fucking now because
Mhm.
those people are racist pieces of shit too. They see this, they see justification in their own mind, and they further this narrative of Brad being a monster.
Yep.
That's the problem. And that's why we said early on, this is getting to a point where it is dangerous and she needs to be off the screen because she's putting Brad's well being, his reputation on the line. Bravo's doing it too. Because the flip side of it, you're not giving us enough of her being racist then. If you're going to do this, then show all of it.
Yep.
Show who she is, but you're not. You're giving her opportunities to explain herself. That's not fair to Brad. And I don't think that's not clicking with somebody in production. They're not putting two and two together.
Yep.
But in my mind, I'm starting to get more and more frustrated because of how this is going to land with a certain type of person watching who is then going to justify Emmy's actions. That's not fair to Brad or the other people on this show. It's not fair to the audience. And this is what you're perpetuating now, Bravo, by not stepping in.
Yep.
Well, let's go to the pirate party. Get it?
Nice.
Thanks. And everyone arrives on the boat, and then we go check in with Joe and Maddie. Maddie's like waking up, and she's like, the only thing I want to do for my birthday is just relax. And then she goes to a confessional. She's like, I want to bed rot. I want to order Uber Eats. I want to watch TV. Joe's like, when's the last time you've been on a date, though? Don't do that. Because now you're setting up like, oh, you know what? I want to lay around, but the only thing that sounds better than that is a nice romantic one-on-one day with my boyfriend. I love that he figured that out. He knows me so well.
God, it's funny too because I had the thought that maybe Maddie was kind of internally getting anxious too. Like, oh yeah, when's the last time we were one-on-one for? Oh God, is he gonna propose?
Yeah.
Is that what he's gonna do today?
Shit.
I don't want to deal with this shit. Yeah, that's like I always think about that whenever the
When's
two of
the
them are,
last time he proposed?
yeah. When's the last time he proposed? But I always think about that. Like anytime that like Joe is doing something or trying to plan something for Maddie, and he talks about getting engaged in his confessionals. He talked about it with his brother. It is on the forefront of his mind. And he is coming up with something extravagant that Maddie's not going to like, but he's still going to do it anyway. And that's just the dynamic of the relationship. And I find it incredibly funny. But I do wonder if every time that he does something like this, when he pulls out all the stops up front and doesn't tell her what's going on, and it's a surprise. Fuck. Oh God, we're going down to the water. What are we doing? Oh
shit.
no. Oh no. What's he wearing? Let's see if there's a bulge in his pocket. Oh God, it's a pirate themed party. Why would you do this? I wanted to hang out. This is not and look, again, I love Joe. I love their relationship. It's very funny to me. But why in the world do you think your girlfriend who is sober is going to want to stay on a boat where people do, and this is scientifically proven, get way drunker on boats? Does she really want to be around all those drunk people on her day? No, probably not. I think a nice dinner or a nice lunch is probably up her alley. Otherwise, no, that's not what we do.
No, but I figured it out. Joe thinks that what he enjoys
Mm-hmm.
is what she would enjoy. He
Correct.
doesn't think deeper into it. I think the most important thing for everybody watching is to remember this is all coming from a place of love. Joe loves her
Yeah.
so much, and she loves him too. And like they do work for each other because she understands him. But we would like a little more thought put into these things,
Mm-hmm.
look at it from her perspective, not just
Mm-hmm.
yours, and saying, oh, pirate boat party sounds fucking sick. Not for a 10-year sober girlfriend, Joe.
Yeah.
So, he's learning. We literally get to watch him learn through these episodes, like what not to do. So hopefully
Yeah.
he's taking notes.
I think he knows too. Like after it happens, I do really
I think
think
it
that he
clicks.
learns and he's like, yeah, that probably was a bad call. Let's get through this party. I won't do it again to you. And then he'll find another way. Like there's always different angles, obviously, and it's sort of the same thing. But he's gonna find another way to be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that either. Man, I'll learn for next time. And he does. I do genuinely think that he does feel bad. And obviously, it's very funny that he forgot to bring the costume for her. She didn't know it was a costume party, but leaving it in your trunk and not realizing, shit, how am I going to get back? And then you're already on the water. You've already departed and you're like, fuck. Somebody swim back. Can somebody please swim back and go
Yeah,
grab
please.
that?
Please, who's the best swimmer? Please go get it. Yeah, he's trying, guys. But before they get to the boat, Mia and Molly get there. And stuff like this, it just doesn't really land. Molly and Mia are the popular mean girls. They think they can run things, but actually they know nothing. It's like, no, you're starting to sound like the loser kid that blames the cool
Yeah.
kids for you being an asshole, actually.
Also, Ali Luber sighting, which the first of the season.
Yeah.
That was something I completely forgot about. We heard that Ali had moved to Charleston, and this was last year before they even started filming. And it made sense, honestly. I don't think that
Yes.
she's like some big personality for reality TV, but obviously she was on VPR for a couple of years there. So she knows how it works. So I didn't really have an issue with it. Completely forgot that she was there until this
Same.
episode. I'm like, oh yeah, forgot she was there. Why haven't we seen her? And it seems like she's friends with Lake, which also doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know. I don't know if there's any reason for me to dig more into that because it might just be incredibly boring to figure that out. So we'll just see how it goes. But I completely forgot about her moving to Charleston.
Yeah, I think that she melds with this cast pretty well. Like that makes sense. I think she can fit in pretty well too. So if that's the route they decide to go, this is like the soft launch for her being part of this. That's fine. Like friend of next season.
Wasn't she
perhaps.
launching like a tarot card business or something?
Tarot card, but
whatever. There's a T at the end. I don't care.
Yeah, no, it was an astrology.
That's what it was.
Yeah, or she like reads your chart.
It does kind of fit in if you get G Lily going on that, which
that's what I'm saying. Like she has friends in this group.
Yeah,
similar interests.
It could work.
But we do get the first Will word name use. I don't even know how to say it. Like it's the first time all season that Emmy's in a confessional. She's like, I would kill Will, not the fiance, if he did this to me. We don't care. I don't care at all. I don't want you to even have this confessional. So I don't fucking care.
You don't have to worry about that because he's never going to do that for you. Like he'll do it for another girl. He's not going to do it for you.
Yeah, he does that for his side piece, not for you, dude. Or maybe you're the side piece. Who the fuck knows anymore?
Well, I was thinking more he takes the side piece out to water because it's away from everybody else. So he can
all those
weird cheating things and then come back and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. There was no one there. You guys
would never know. He's a lawyer. He's going to have a boat.
Yeah.
And you know that he's going to do shady shit on that boat.
Wasn't that part of Emmy's dream was to marry a lawyer, have the white picket fence, and a guy who had a boat? I'm pretty sure the boat was involved.
Sounds right.
That. So would you kill Will if he did this? I mean, I don't think Will has any friends, so I don't think he can muster up a group of people unless he hires them. But
he will.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about it. Not something you have to worry about, Emmy.
No, he doesn't put thought into you and your well-being. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
We've seen that for years.
Yeah.
But anyway, surprise. And Maddie's pissed. And Joe starts, I think it really sinks in that moment. He's like, oh, yeah. All right. Not the best move. Not the best move. But we're going to, like you said, we're going to make the most of it and do better next time. That's all you can ask for. We're here. Yeah. Let's have some fun. And Justin's talking Charlie, and they seem like they're really liking each other. I like that when they're at least going to see how the DR goes. Like, let's see how the Dominican goes. And then when we come back, we'll figure out where me and Charlie stand. As we know, they're still together. So apparently things are going well. But we're talking Punta Cana. Oh, go ahead.
I like Justin a lot more than I like Charlie. So that's the only reason I'm really interested in this. Otherwise, I'm not really interested in the crossover dynamic. But I don't know. We talked about the love bomb cycle that happens down in Charleston. That's really the only thing I'm keeping an eye on. But we know they're still together now, so it's not like anything weird's going to happen along the way.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. If Craig enters the fold somehow, that could be interesting.
True. Yeah.
I'm coming back to fight for your honor on
Yeah.
Southern Hospitality. Oof. But like I said, we're going to talk about the Punta Cana stuff. And again, Emmy just showing her ass here because, and this is where I just lose any kind of question marks of like, oh, she doesn't know what's going on because she's like, Michael's just talking about mangoes because I guess he had a mango tree or his relatives had a mango tree in their backyard in the DR. She's like, mango trees? I love mangoes. Mangoes are great. I'm going to steal your mango. What? First of all, lady, take a fucking deep breath. You give me anxiety when you talk. Second, stop. You know something's wrong. So fucking talk to him. Like, at least try to be a grown-up. At some point, can you just be normal? Like, ish.
No. Anytime she talks, I get that bad vibe that there's something going on there. Not mental health or anything else, but allegedly looking into
air conditioning.
Not even adjacent to air conditioning. I'll say that. But she even says, and like to have the self-awareness in your confessional and say, I saw what Michaels did to Lake, so I understand what he does when he's upset. And then watch her do this. It's like, that's not going to work. Like, I thought you got it. You think you're going to be able to, you think you're going to be able to charm Michaels out of this? No. Where's your charm? You have no charm. You're not an interesting person that people are going to be like, come on, it's Emmy. Let me just let her slide on this. But no one once is going to say that. You are a very anxious person to be around. I can't imagine other people wanting to be around you. So doing this is not going to work.
No, and then she pulls Maddie to the side to like go have a conversation. Well, Michael's clearly upset and pushing me away. And I'm experiencing firsthand what Michael's did to Lake, and he has a bad habit of going silent. You're doing it now. You're putting it on him. You are the problem, but you are putting it on Michael's.
Yeah, of course she is. And the way that Maddie goes about this conversation, this is what I was talking about earlier. I'm getting the vibe that I do think, and maybe I'm not going to lump Joe into this, but I do think that Maddie understands what's going on, and she's sticking by her in a I'm
you're
sticking
unwell
by her, but
kind
like
of deal.
Yeah, you're like kind of out there and unwell, and I want to hear where you're coming from on all of this. But even just the littlest push, like, did you think about taking responsibility and saying like, hey, I shouldn't have said this or said that? And she says no right away, because obviously she's not going to take any responsibility. It tells me that Maddie knows what's going on. She's too smart to not understand what Emmy's doing. But I do think that she doesn't want to get involved at all. I think that they're just like, hey, let's keep her at an arm's length. Let's still, it's not good. It's not the right move. But I'd rather do this than operate under the guise that they are just completely turning a blind eye. Like, I think that everybody understands what's going on, but being someone else in that group and seeing what's going on, like, you're not standing by her, you're not defending her, but you're also not chastising her. Being that neutrality is probably where they want to be, because if they get involved one way or the other, then things become a lot messier for them and they just don't want to deal with it. That's all I'm getting, which again, not great, not what I would do, but at least it kind of calms me a little bit just thinking, how do you not see what's going on? They do see what's going on. They understand what's going on. They're just not getting involved.
Yeah, it's just, when she goes to confessionals and she's like, I don't know how Emmy expects Michaels to defend her as a person of color, given what she's done. Say that to her.
Yeah.
And then I get really confused because she ends it with blind loyalty is bullshit. We're not Mia, TJ, and Brad with blind loyalty. It's like, well, whoa, why are you taking a shot at them? Emmy's taking shots at them by saying that you're giving her enough of a cosign to feel like she's supported. That was weird.
And it's
a weird.
It was just a shot at them for no reason. Like, that doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, what blind loyalty are you even talking about? Who are
they're tight? They're friends. They look out for each other.
Yeah, so they just have blind loyalty to each other. That's just friendship. And it just tells me that you don't have any friends. So that's why you're bitching about this.
Yeah, it was very strange. It was a strange scene, but I hope that that's what's happening. Because when Maddie sits down with Michaels, she's like, I heard you and Emmy aren't talking right now. And he's like, well, I'm not going to be her bodyguard or her mouthpiece. I was like, okay, good. Thank you for that. Like, that's comforting. And Maddie's like, yeah, she can handle her own shit. I'm like, all right, well then let her.
Yeah.
You know, I get where you're coming from, and I agree for now. But we're gonna reach a point if this continues where I need people to draw a line in the sand and say, we're not putting up with this. We're not going
Yeah.
to give her any kind of leeway anymore. So I'm curious if we're getting to that point or not. But we get a little check in with G Lily. This made me happy because she seems way better. Like she seemed like
Yeah.
herself again. She seemed bubbly and light, and she's able to talk to Leva about what she's gone through recently. And I appreciate her openness and vulnerability with this whole thing. It's not easy to discuss. And I think the biggest takeaway for me was when she's talking about her friends, right? She's like, I wasn't invited to this, I wasn't invited to that. Like, I made a joke, it wasn't a good joke. This is the first time we've seen her acknowledge that, like, yeah, my behavior was bad. And I
Yeah.
understand why they're not reaching out. And like, that's okay. I'm working my way back. I was like, that to me screams in a good way, like I'm in recovery, I'm working on myself, and I'm doing the right thing. So for me, I was like, hell yeah, G Lily, like it's a long road. There is a way forward with these people. You're doing the right things. You're not getting angry. You're accepting. And like that, I thought that was just really cool to watch.
Yeah, it really was too. And I feel bad for her too, because while she hasn't done anything that's been like a massive atom bomb in a friendship where there's no coming back from that, really what we've seen, and Maddie's the best example, obviously, because they were the closest. Maddie's just talking about how G Lily always is, how it's always about her, and how she always uses Maddie as a punching bag whenever she's upset about something else happening that doesn't even involve Maddie, but she still wants to go after Maddie and just knock her down. I think that's what it is. It's just Maddie's going through her own journey, and she's also exhausted by G Lily. She'll move on. But when G Lily gets back to a good place, that door is going to be wide open again. It will be, as long as she can prove that. And it's none of my business, but I do speculate as to whether or not she did go to a facility for at least a couple of weeks to try to get some shit
She
under
was in the
wraps.
outpatient thing, at least. I know
Yeah,
that, but I
I
don't
know she
know.
was talking to I can't remember the guy's name, the sober coach, but I mean,
Travis?
he was great. Yeah,
He,
Travis, I think maybe.
he was awesome.
Yeah,
He was like,
yeah,
that's the kind of people that we need to highlight when we're doing recovery on TV. Like guys
uh-huh,
like him that actually are good at what they do. Like that's a good
yeah.
glimpse into sobriety.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, this conversation was great. And again, G Lily's back to being G Lily, at least for this conversation. And you
Mhm.
always forget just how funny and oblivious she can be
She's great.
when she's talking to Levin. And Levin makes a very good point right after. But when she's talking to Levin, she's like, if I decide to come back to Republic,
Yeah.
I
It's her
just think I want
decision.
to do things. It's like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Why are you saying that? But like, that is who G Lily is, and that was the weird, funky character that we kind of fell in love with in the first season, where we didn't know which way she was going to go, and obviously she's had her issues. But talking to Leva, like that was very prime G Lily talking to Leva about that, and then Leva steps in, and this is the role that Leva is very good at on this show,
Mhm.
is being that not only that LVP motherly figure, but also just kind of being the head of all the businesses in Charleston, essentially. Like she owns pretty much every restaurant and bar in
All
Charleston at this
Main
point. And
Street.
they just, yeah, she pretty much, it's just Leva Street at this point, and Leva and Lamar Street. But when she's talking to her, she's like, yeah, and this is a really good point. Do you really want to go back into that nightlife? Do you really want to go back into that industry? Is it good for you, especially right now? I mean, yeah, down the road when you have a handle on things, sure, you feel like you can do it. That's great. But don't just put all your eggs in this basket. Don't just assume like, hey, this is what I was good at and this is what I enjoyed. Let me go back to it, because you might be putting yourself at risk and you don't want to do that. And I appreciate that from Leva too, because she could have gone a number of ways with this scene. Obviously, G Lily just being quirky, you can kind of feed into that, make some jokes. It's good footage. It's good time for reality TV. But I also like to see that there's a softer side where it's like, hey, I'm happy that you're doing great. I'm happy that you're kind of focused on your friendships, your relationships, everything. You got to keep doing the work. You got to keep making the steps that you need to, and we'll see where it goes from here. But I just want to give you that little bit of advice, and you can see. And again, G Lily's got some decisions to make as she moves forward. But I liked it. I thought it was a good check-in scene for her.
Yeah, and I think it's also a good reality check for G Lily. And it's like
Hmm.
a good reminder, like, hey, you can move forward with people, but actions have consequences. And just because you're getting sober and things are going well, does not mean that the same opportunities will still be there for you after the fact.
Right.
Doesn't mean that we're not supportive. Doesn't mean there isn't something different in the future. She mentions having like a tarot card event or some of the G Lily shit, like doing that at Zach Stacks. So she's open and willing to try some things, but she's not like, yeah, we're going to dive straight back into this whole
Right.
thing. But it was a great scene. Like it's nice to see her be herself again, and she's 1 month sober and like that's fucking awesome. So hats off to G Lily. Hopefully she continues down that path and we see her in a bigger capacity on this show. Cause when she's on, man, she's good TV. Like season 1, G Lily was fucking gold.
Yeah.
But let's go to Punta Cana. And TJ's sleeping position on the plane is ludicrous. That was insane. It was like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like, you can't sleep like that on an airplane.
No, you can't, honestly. I did like to see that there was a couple of them that upgraded their tickets to first class, or at least business, but I don't know what TJ was doing. I have no idea what he was doing on that
I've never
plane.
seen that.
But again, it's TJ and Michael sitting next to each
Cute.
other, just having a couple of drinks, enjoying some good chatter on the plane. I like it. I'm into it.
Cute, super cute, guys. But let's get to the DR. And as we know, Michaels is from the DR. He hasn't been back since he was like 7, I think. And he's really excited to this is a cool trip where we get to kind of see his roots. And he's excited to share this with his friends. It's like a whole thing. Emmy's taking the stance of it really sucks when Michaels and I are on good terms because like this is his history. It's like, fuck you. Like, I'd love to share this and stop being racist. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I think that's the most ludicrous statement that she could have made too.
Agreed.
Like, so you're telling us that you're oblivious to so many things and you're keyed in on that?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I would, of all things, I would understand if you were like, yeah, I don't really understand why this trip is so big for Michaels. We're staying at a resort in the Dominican. It's not like we're going to his hometown, which they might be going to. If she said something like that, I'd be like, yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. But you're keyed in on the fact that this is important for him and you're going to act like you're not? What are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't try to understand her brain anymore. Like,
no, you can't.
It's just big for me. Like usually I go down these rabbit holes, try to understand people's psyche. I've quit with her for my own mental well-being. But
look, I think that's smart too, because like usually our episodes for something like that are like an hour and a half and it's 45 minutes of you trying to figure out what a crazy person's thinking.
I'm going to lose my mind in turn. But we're getting our room situated, and obviously there's still this elephant in the room of people being awkward around the lake. And Molly is saying that the only person I'm awkward around is Lake, and that's a her issue. Mia's taking the same stance. Everyone has now gotten to the point with Lake shenanigans where they're looking at Lake. Like, you seem to be the problem in all of these situations. We don't know what you're doing, but what Lake I don't think is recognizing. Like, people are checking out. They don't care anymore. Like, this is no longer an issue. They're just seeing like, oh, Lake's being Lake. I don't have time for that. Let's go do our own thing. She's going to get on an island again and feel isolated and sad. We've seen that happen before. It's going to happen again. But I was not ready for this. It's not surprising at all, actually. Like, this is pretty much par for the course. Like, you're going to rant and rave about one thing, but then you're going to go and do it yourself because it's different when you do it, I guess.
Justin and TJ hiding in the cabinet. I was taken aback too.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just that. Whoa, I didn't expect those guys to jump out of there. Yeah, that whole thing was funny because Brad tells him, and it's like, yeah, the chicken there, and then they check. He's like, whoa, you got me. I was like, no way, these guys would be like. That's such a dude moment.
These guys are so quirky.
That's just a dumbass dude moment on a trip. Like, I'm gonna get in the cabinet. Then you tell him anyway.
Got him.
Yeah, high five. Let's go do shots. But no, that's not what I'm talking about. Because it's annoying that I got my ass handed to me for being a bad friend, quote unquote. This is Molly. And then I find out you went and fucked O'Sheen. And people are starting to find out that night where O'Sheen was with the crew, not 3-4 days ago, she went home with him. Now, O'Sheen's got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
She knows that O'Sheen's got a girlfriend. So this whole rigmarole about you being upset with Justin and Mia because they were insensitive to Jordan's feelings is fucking insane. They weren't even dating. O'Sheen's got a whole ass girlfriend, and you are complicit in him cheating on her.
Yeah. I mean, it's gross enough that she had sex with O'Sheen, but
for sure.
Maybe this is the end of the girls girl movement. I mean, that was such a big thing in Charleston. It was such a big thing in various shows. Maybe this is the death. Maybe this is the final straw. We are done with it. You can no longer claim girls girl stuff anymore because now we've got the biggest leader of the girls girl movement, Lake, who just inserted herself in an issue that had nothing to do with her. She wasn't even friends with the people involved, and she got all butthurt about it, and then immediately does this. I think it's over. I think
Yeah,
we
I think
made
so
it.
too.
We're done with the girls.
I think we got through it. Yeah.
The
Like,
boys boy movement is coming though, and
that's gonna be
that's
so much worse.
gonna be stellar. Yeah.
That's gonna be so much worse. Just a bunch of dumbass dudes just fucking each other
Yeah.
over like, oh boy, I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, that's the gradual progression. It's got to happen next. Maddie gets her walkthrough of the hotel, and as we know, we haven't really dove into it, but we just had references throughout the season of her taking a breather from all this because she needed a mental health break. So she's excited to
Yeah.
get back into everything. We're looking at the whole setup, and then we get Michaels and Emmy. They're going to go have a quick conversation. Michaels just wants to get on the same page and just be able to move on from all of this stuff. And the first thing that Michaels is really upset about is an angle I didn't even think about. He's like, I've defended you through everything. I defended you through the Will bullshit. I defended you at the reunion last year. I've always been there for you. But this one time that I try to hold you accountable, I don't agree with your actions. You are so quick to throw everything out the window. I wasn't even expecting that. I thought he was gonna be like, you need to stop being fucking racist, but he's more so upset that like this is apparently the breaking point and you're completely disregarding everything that I've done for you up until this point.
Yeah, and that's I was bewildered, honestly. I thought that we were finally just having the discussion of you're being racist, just stop talking, which it does turn into.
It gets there.
And again, she gets the advice, just shut up. Like you just have to fucking move on, which I do think that she deserves. Deserves is a weird word. I do think that they need to sit her down and tell her exactly what she's doing is wrong and not let her talk through it, not let her explain anything, just tell her she's wrong and then say shut up. But if we've gotten to the point and it's a last ditch effort to just tell her to shut up, fine. The way he goes about it, look, I believe him. I think that this is actually like kind of tugging at his heartstrings again with what I talked about earlier. Like all of these people were very close to her. Everybody was good friends with her. And then there was a turn in her whole personality. Her entire life changed. And now this is what we have to deal with. And I'm sure with us watching, 10,000 miles away, we're looking at this thing like, cut her off, get rid of her. Why is anybody even around her? But it's a lot harder for people like Michaels.
There's
for people
more nuance to it.
Yeah, there's a lot more nuance to it because they were really good friends and they were very close and they knew each other's families. So hearing this is always kind of startling because I'm like, just fucking rip the Band-Aid off and get her. But I get why he's doing this. And again, Michaels is he's a very sensitive person. He's very in touch with his feelings. And when something like this really rubs him the wrong way, that's how he's going to lead it off. So I thought that Michaels did everything under his power to try to steer this conversation in the right direction and try to get her to understand. Unfortunately, we have seen this conversation with Emmy, with various people multiple times, and she has not taken any ownership. She will not. She just denies it all and says that she's not being crazy and that Brad made her feel uncomfortable and that she doubles down and she uses every trigger word, every microaggressive word once again. And we're back in the same spot. And it's just like, how many times, like when push comes to shove, how many more people on this show need to sit down and talk to Emmy before everybody realizes like, hey, we have to cast her out?
That's such a good point. And I thought that a really good point that Michael's made was like, look, a real friend is going to hold you accountable. A real friend is going to tell you the truth. I'm not just going to placate and make you feel better. And Emmy's like, well, I feel invalidated. It's like, well, you're never going to understand what it's like to be my skin color, Mia, Lake, etc. So when I say drop it and leave it alone, fucking drop it and leave it alone. The worst possible thing that could have happened is Emmy going, well, I talked to Lucia. Great. What? Okay, so you talk to a person of color, so now you're exonerated. She's like, she said that his actions weren't acceptable. One, very important to note, Brad and Lucia used to hook up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that ended. Two, what are you telling her? Because you're probably telling her all of this made up bullshit. Go to the scene of them talking. I don't know why they didn't show that whole scene. This is my point to Bravo. Show the whole thing so we can get a read on this psycho. You're telling her your side of the story, which is a lie. It's exaggerated and it's damaging. So of course she's going to hear that and go, oh my God, yeah, like that's unacceptable, blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. You don't get to say that just because you talked to a person of color, didn't give her all the details. She said that you're good. That does not wipe the slate clean. And this is my point as to like the damaging part of it, because now she gets to sit there on TV again and say he threatened and stalked me. I had a
Yeah.
panic attack when he texted me. You felt unsafe to the point of a panic attack with your fiance in the room? Are you fucking kidding me? That doesn't make any sense. And by the way, we already know that you two were laughing like idiots in there. That's why people heard you, because you couldn't keep your fucking mouth shut. And you're going to spin this whole thing. And now, once again, we're watching you blow it out of proportion. You're watching you exaggerate the whole thing, making everything like way worse than it was. And now you're getting Lucia to co-sign on it. I would be so curious to get her opinion on everything now that she's watched the season.
Yeah, having Lucia chime in on what she feels now after watching everybody's angle of the story, hearing everybody's angle of what happened there, that would be very interesting to me, because that's what Emmy's been doing. And we know that. I was happy to see that Michaels at least knew that right away. Like, okay, you're only telling her one side of the story. You're not giving her the full story. So, of course, she's going to agree with you. So don't take that under consideration. Michaels is still just doing what we've seen in every conversation with Emmy, trying to get his point across. Like, that's what he's just trying to do, trying to get her and try in different ways to get her to understand. At the very least, just shut up. Like, that's all I'm asking you. Just drop it. Like, if I tell you to drop it and leave it alone, you drop it and leave it alone. Emmy is not the type of person that's just going to drop it and leave it alone because somebody else, regardless of their standing, tells her to drop it and leave it alone. She's got a point to make, and her point is ridiculous. Her point is, hey, I am racist. Like, that's what she's saying, essentially. Yeah. And at what point are we going to listen? Like, we're already listening. We already know. Most of the audience is already listening. But when is the cast going to listen? Like, all right, you're a lost cause. We don't want to be around you anymore. That's what it has to get to. We've tried every which way to get her to understand where she's coming from. Now we're at the last ditch effort of just shut up, and she's still not shutting up. So what do we expect moving forward here? Like, are we just going to have a full knockdown, drag out reunion where she's hyperventilating again and still doesn't understand what's going on and trying to get her point across, going back to her hotel room? She probably won't stay at the same hotel. I would imagine she's probably going to try to leave that night. She doesn't want a repeat of what happened last year. Not that anybody would do anything, because I imagine, again, everybody's done with her. So just be done with her.
I agree. And I think that we're going to see that with Michaels, like that conversation at the very end of the episode where Maddie goes with him to the bathroom and he's clearly upset. And him saying, I went to have a conversation. I let her walk all over me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So what I would imagine is going to happen, he's going to go take a sec, regroup, think through the conversation, and I think their next conversation is going to be much, much, much different. I think it's going to be much more the Michaels that we saw early this season when he got heated at Molly. I think we're going to see a repeat of that with Emmy, which is so fucking well-deserved and a long time coming, and I think that that's what we've been waiting for. And I also think when you have somebody like a Michaels or a Maddie, if you see them really go in on her and name all of these things, I think then the rest of the group is going to be like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. Fuck you, Emmy.
Yeah. And again, once Bravo sees that that's going to affect their actual show and they have a much better cast on their hands without Emmy, they're going to get rid of her. They have to. There's really no answer when you look at it across the board. Like, this isn't fun drama. This isn't exciting stuff. This isn't, I can't wait to see what Emmy does next week because she's batshit crazy, but in a fun way. She's batshit crazy in a very detrimental way.
Yeah,
to the show, to ratings, damaging to people's reputations, damaging to Brad, damaging to the rest of the crew for who's being friends with her. All of those things across the board. Like, we just can't have it anymore. And her coming back after that conversation, this is all you really need to see about Emmy. This is all you ever really need to know about Emmy. That conversation did not go well in the standing of us watching as a third party. Like, hey, you did fucked up things. Understand. Nope, you're not taking accountability for anything. She comes back thinking that conversation went so well, and she's
glad he heard me out.
He heard me out. I feel so much better. I'm talking to all the girls about where they got their dresses from. Everybody at that table, and this is the most infuriating part of all of this, everybody at that table is staring her down like, what are you talking about? You're nuts. Like, you're crazy. And we're looking at Michaels, who's clearly very upset. We're looking at you, and you won't shut up, and you're acting like everything's perfect. That's where I'm like, guys, please, somebody step in. Somebody do something about her and get her the hell out of here, because you guys all see it. And we're watching you see it, and you do nothing. You just do nothing when it comes to Emmy. So it's very, very frustrating, again, because I love Michaels. I think he's such a sweetheart. And when he walks away from that table and Maddie goes with him and he's crying and he's like, she walked all over me. I didn't know what to do. Like, she was able to just kind of get her point across and she didn't hear a damn word that I said. I don't know what to do. And it really upsets me. So I feel bad for him. But I do think, again, and I said this earlier, we've seen Michaels go down this path. This is how he handles this type of turmoil. He'll get through it. He'll be okay. He just needs to talk to Maddie. Maddie will get him out of the hole. And then he'll come back with a vengeance. And that's what we need. Unfortunately, I don't want, like, that's the other part. I never want something like that to happen, but she deserves it. And this needs to happen. This is the only way that this gets done.
Agreed. 100% agreed. And I think we're going to see that finally take place. Like you said, long time coming. And I think we finally reached the breaking point. But let's get to some questions.
First one up from G Made in Italy. Can we start a petition to get Emmy off TV? This is getting very dangerous. See, everybody understands. Everybody sees it for what it is. And it's just like, yes, I think we should actually start a petition for this one.
Agreed.
This is the angle that I was talking about with those confessionals, especially from Pixie Angel 42. Is Bravo giving Emmy her current edit to make her quit or to have evidence to her at the end of the season? I don't know what they're doing. Again, they are pointing out all of the inconsistencies and the lies that she makes, but they're still giving her a platform. So it's a very weird position to be in.
I know. I don't know. I hope that that's their angle. If not, they're just helping.
Here you go. From a deer in the headlights. Do you think Lucia feels dumb as fuck watching this back about how Emmy used her? I hope so, because
I really hope so.
We just talked about that. Yes, I do hope that Lucia sees all of this. She's like, God damn it, she used me.
Yeah, this is interesting too. Julie Harp 73. Hey Leva, remember the evisceration of Catherine? Why is Emmy still allowed on TV? I don't know.
Nope. From Megan Perdom. Have you ever written an essay as long as Emmy's text to Michaels? No.
Nope.
I also would respond with too long. I'm not reading all that. But
TLDR.
Sorry that happened to you, or congratulations.
Yeah, whatever is applicable.
Oh yeah, from Sarah D. Why isn't Bravo or Emmy or even Leva stepped in at this point about Emmy? It's maddening. I don't know how much Bravo. There's no excuse for that because they see everything. I don't know how much Levin knows. I think Levin understands some of it and wants to see how it plays out. And, they're adults at the end of the day. So let's see if we can get to some sort of resolution. But she doesn't know what's going on day to day. Bravo does. And they're giving her confessionals to talk about it.
Yep. This is a really, really good point. I forgot to mention it. She does in the middle of the episode from Ambizam. Why does Emmy's racism know no bounds? Not all countries south of the U.S. specialize in tacos. Yeah. Exactly. She just, we're going south, tacos, jerk chicken.
Yep.
No. Different places, different cultures entirely. Fucking racist.
Yeah. From Steph Rossler RD, Joe Bradley with a face palm
emoji.
And
we get it.
Maria D. Hugh. Joe Bradley is holding Maddie back. I don't think he's holding Maddie back in any way. I really don't. I think he's incredibly supportive. I think he's a very good boyfriend. Obviously, he does things that we talked about earlier where he thinks that she's going to enjoy everything that he's going to enjoy, and he'll figure it out. But he's not holding her back.
Joe loves her very much, and Joe's learning, and Maddie has the patience of a saint. And I think that what we don't get to see a lot of on this show is what Joe does for her as far as like emotional support and things like that. I think that there's more to this relationship than we're privy to. I think it's easy for us to watch at home and be like, oh, there goes Joe being dumb again. But there's obviously more to this duo, and they clearly love each other a lot. And I think that's my takeaway.
Yeah. And we'll end on this one from Janice Ingram 360. Does anyone else think that Lake is a little brat and shouldn't have inserted herself in Mia's shit? Yes, absolutely. She is a very, very big brat. That's what I'm getting from her.
Exactly. It's like earlier, like I said, when she was like, they think they're cool and like they don't know shit. It's like you're really coming off as the loser that's like blaming the cool kids for your problems.
Yep.
And I'm not saying there's moments that's not applicable, but this is not one of those moments. And it just doesn't play very well. And that's why I said I think it's gonna be a good learning experience. But anyway, we'll see how this goes. I don't even know what to expect week to week. I do know that she's a detriment to the show and to the people on the show, but hopefully this will be the last season that we have to see her and ever hear about her and the fiance ever again.
Yeah.
But that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
Well, Rob Bros are out of here.